Hey guys, it's Wayne from NerdCEOs, and I kind of just wanted to chime in on the whole layoff thing. And a lot of people are kind of like losing their careers, right? Well, not necessarily losing their career, but losing their job, and they're having to find a new place to work. Now, just to give you a little bit of context, again, my name is Dwayne Lattimore. I'm a CISSP, Certified Information System Security Professional. Um, I've been a network security engineer for the longest. Right now, I try to stay more into the governance, risk, and compliance lane, more of the business side of security. And, having the knowledge from actually being the one who's the custodian and doing the implementations versus now, actually playing more of a managerial role and doing more of the business side of tech is pretty interesting. Now, with that said, I've been with many companies like General Electric. I've been at Google. I've been at Fresenius Kabi. I've been at University of Dayton. I've been at so many different places, large companies, right? Enterprise, right? And these things happen all the time. And when the pandemic started and really kicked off in 2020, um, when I was at GE, we kind of knew what was going on, like kind of like late November of 2019, going into like December. There were just things were just starting to get a little bit weird, right? Um, you know, they could foresee the things that were coming, and it was not pretty. And I clearly just remember, you know, people getting their severance packages, and GE was very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? They were very generous to a lot of people. And then me also being a contractor there, they could have told me, hey, you got 2 weeks or you got a week. That's just the nature of security, right? But they were generous enough to allow me to have, I think it was like 2 months or something like that, before it was like, I had to pretty much have all my stuff out of the office as well. Um, but here's the point that I want to make to all the tech professionals out there, even if you're just getting started, right? But most of the veterans already know this, and I don't mean this in any type of harsh way, but none of these companies owe us anything, right? Most of us live in at will states. Um, they don't even have to have a reason, and you always have to have that mindset. If you have that mindset, you're not. It's just like that, the whole great expectations thing, right? If you don't expect it, then it's less disappointing when it doesn't happen. Like you can't expect them to say, "Hey, well, we're going to lay you off, but it's going to be 6 months from now." That doesn't really work, right? And then security, anyone in security, uh, uh, any of my security brothers and sisters out there, you all know that when anyone is let go from a company for whatever reason that may be, you have to immediately deactivate their access because you don't know how anyone is going to respond. And you can't go case by case basis, especially when you have thousands and thousands of people that are working for any particular company, or maybe even if it's hundreds. That's just that's too tedious to have to get on a granular a granular level and actually go through every single person and say, well, this person's cool, but this person isn't cool. You understand? So you have to kind of use a blanketed approach for everyone. So when anyone is about to leave, even when they go on vacation, right? When you send someone on a 2 week vacation, most of the time that time is used so that someone else can log into the account. They shouldn't have access to their account while they're on vacation, so that you can catch any type of suspicious activity on their account. Those are standard practices that I see in many organizations. But I said all that to say this: those of you who got severance packages, um, you're very lucky, because in many companies there's people who don't walk away with enough money to actually support their bills for the next couple months or anything like that. And to all the people who worked at Twitter, um, you know, I truly understand where you're coming from, especially right now during the holiday season, all that. But don't be mad at Elon, right? It's a business move. And the best part about all of this is that you have Twitter on your resume. That's already going to speak volumes, right? And anyone who looks at your resume and they see, wow, like you kind of got caught up in the whole Twitter transaction and the acquisition and things like that. It's fine. Don't worry. You have Twitter on your resume for a reason. Think about this. You got it. You were able to get into Twitter because of who you are. Think about how many people actually want to work for a company like Twitter, but you were able to get into Twitter, right? That already speaks volumes about you as an engineer or a project manager or what have you, right? It already says a lot, right? So that's going to carry with you when you go somewhere else. So I wouldn't actually worry about that. What I would do in this time, if you are in tech and you've recently been laid off or you're actually looking for something new, use this time to go after extra certs, right? If there's any cert, let's okay, right. And when it comes to risk management, right? We always create profiles. We have a profile for where you currently are. This is the current status of where you are in your career. We're just going to use you as representing like where we want our security posture to be. But you're where you are right now at point A. The goal is for you to actually get to point B, right? So whatever it is, maybe you're an engineer now, you want to be lead engineer. Maybe you're lead engineer now, you want to be the supervisor, or you want to be the project manager. You want to lead the team. Okay, so what I would do at this point is look for that person in your organization, or look for someone. Get on LinkedIn, see what their credentials are, see what their background is, the exact type of person that you want to be, where you want to go and level up to. Look at the certs that they've acquired, or look at their experience. Say, what could I pull or take from that, or what I don't need. This is what I should get. Things like that, right? And then use this time right now while we're in this hiring freeze, because that's what's happening for pretty much everyone, right? We're in a hiring freeze. It's already fourth quarter. December is literally like a week or two away, a week and a half away. So most companies aren't even going to be hiring anybody right now. If they do hire you right now, your start date is not going to happen until at least probably the first week of January, because that's just going to be too much paperwork and they're not going to want to do it. So yeah, most people, if you're not getting hired right now and your start is not in January, you're probably going to be, realistically, the hiring freeze is not going to be over until, like, I would say maybe the second week of January, and then most of you won't actually start working and get your first day of work until like maybe the second or third week of February. That's actually the reality of it all, because you still have to go through background. Some of you might still have to do fingerprinting. You got drug tests. You got all kinds of stuff that you have to do, and backgrounds by themselves can last 10 business days, right? But use this time to level up. You know, when I finished my last contract, I finished a contract at Delta Airlines. I used that time to go ahead and say, you know what? I need to become a CISSP, because I had been waiting to do that forever, right? You have to have 5 years and working in these different areas of security, and then you have to have someone endorse you. You got to go through all this stuff, right? All this studying. And I told myself, I said, if I wait until I jump into another contract or get another job or something like that, then it's probably not going to happen. And I had been saying this for years. I'm overqualified to have my CISSP. So I use that free time to actually go after that, because I'm trying to elevate in my career. The goal for me is to be CTO of one of these great companies. So I have to continuously persist and make myself better. So use this time wisely. Use your winter break. Spend time with family. Definitely have a safe New Year and all that kind of good stuff or whatever. But use this hiring freeze time. Use this winter break. Use this time off. Even if you're watching this video and it's not the same year anymore, or there is no hiring freeze. If you're in between any of your jobs right now, and maybe you just got laid off and you're watching this video, sometimes some of us, we do have the time to do that. Some of us don't. But I will say this: while you're actively looking for another job, definitely study your ass off and go after the next cert. Continuously improve, because sometimes even when you talk to some of the recruiters or some of the hiring managers of some of the companies, they might actually say, whoa, what were you doing during this time? Whatever. You can tell them like, hey, I worked on myself, like literally, and here's the certification to prove it. Or I took this class over at such and such university and I got this certificate from that. So I mean, like they have tons of things out there, like Wharton Business School. I know MIT has some things. Like there's a lot of places that has additional programs. Now they vary in cost depending on where you go, because sometimes you are paying for the name, but um, there's a lot of things out there. So, guys, use this time to level up. Don't be so down on yourself. If you were able to get into companies like Twitter or any of these other great companies that I didn't have time to mention, you were already great before you got there. They do not define you. Your work defines you. What you actually do in the marketplace defines you. You create value for yourself. It's not the company, right? So, because you were already great and you had value, that's why you were able to work for these places. So, it's not over, right? Life goes on. You're on to better, bigger, and greater things, right? So let's just get it done. But uh, but yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. And everybody, keep your head up. We're gonna be good. Don't worry. Peace.